right, cool. Uh, so I'm here, Keith, in case you didn't know, and I'm doing the season six premiere of Teen Wolf. I'm reviewing it, called Memory Lost, the final season premiere of Teen Wolf, with it being the final season. Quick side note before I get into anything episode related, I find it kind of symbolic that one of the first things that we did when we started doing more than just music on this channel was that I did a Walking Dead review, and now I think it's funny that shortly after we officially changed our channel name, I'm doing this. I'm doing a Teen Wolf review, so I think that's cool. So yeah, it's the final season. I think I mentioned when I reviewed the first two episodes of season five that I I personally felt that the show could have gone on for seven seasons, but I think that them ending on their own terms is actually a really cool thing. So I'll get to more of like the side notes later, but I want to talk about what happens a little bit. So so the cold open's been out for a while, so I'm not really going to talk about the cold open, but essentially for the rest of the episode, it's Styles and Scott and the pack all trying to figure out what happened to this kid Alex's parents, and you find out a couple things. It's been 3 months since the end of season five. Malia can go full coyote, and it looks like Liam's being set up to be the next alpha, and so I'm assuming that's going to be a big thing for the rest, especially this half of the season. And then one of the other things that so the big thing that happens is the wild hunt. So um, you find out that slowly Alex's family and even proof of Alex's existence starts to vanish. And then while they're looking through his house, which is apparently abandoned, Styles sees Ghost Rider, and then you slowly begin to find out that he's being forgotten. People are forgetting about him. From Malia to Mason and Liam and Hayden, and then also Scott, and even his dad, to the point where Lydia's the only one that remembers him, and then kind of like what's revealed in the trailer, he's eventually taken, which kind of surprised me a little bit that they were going to go this early in the season to just kind of hit that to have Styles be taken away, which is cool because in my opinion that makes this probably the all around best season premiere of Teen Wolf, probably, or at least one of the best so far. This episode's really good because like it's very reflective on everything that's happened. It's very you kind of find out this thing where Scott has the belief that Beacon Hills doesn't need the pack anymore, which is an interesting thing because it's kind of similar to the theme from season five of everybody breaking apart. This finality tone that they've kind of been going for the last two seasons, and it's really cool. You just get to see some nice character moments between Styles and Scott. There's a lot of them, which I guess that makes sense because they're probably not going to interact too much throughout the whole season. And yeah, the another big thing was the whole big Styles and Lydia scene, which is like in the most recent trailer the biggest thing to happen. And it's true. He does tell Lydia that he loves him, but then he gets taken. He gets taken right afterwards. So that kind of hampers down on that. So we at least know that is true half the way. There was a fan theory going on that like it wasn't even Lydia that was experiencing it; that Styles was experiencing the "I love you" scene with somebody else. So and that's interesting. I mean, other than that, there's not really too much else that happens in this episode. I kind of more want to use this time to talk about season six in general. So with it being the last season, I want to make a couple points. So uh, there's Arden show is not a part of the show anymore, which is I think partially it kind of sucks, but it's also pretty good at the same time, which is not Arden show's fault because Kira Yukimura, that character was a fun character to watch, and I did enjoy her character, but it just seemed like the writers didn't know what to do with her. Season four, in my opinion, besides her learning how to heal herself in the finale, her role throughout the season four is to be Scott's new girlfriend, and then season five, her story gets a little better with her learning control, but like it seemed like, especially between 4 and 5, that the writers were using like every excuse possible just to not include her in an episode. Like I think she's missing from a quarter of the episode. She's missing for at least like a good bit of like a quarter of the episodes of season 5, which I just thought was weird. Um, so I mean, but that's probably good because instead of them trying to shoehorn her story in, which if they couldn't come up with a good story, then that's fine. I mean, and then yeah, and so there's also the talks of a bunch of people coming back, in which I hope that they come back substantially. Like I'm assuming that nobody's coming back in the first half of season 6 because we haven't heard anything. I mean, I guess Theo and Peter are both back, but like we haven't heard of like Derek or Isaac or whoever else, or Jackson. And I hope they come back and they have like a substantial plot thing happening. Like I hope it's not just bring them back for fan service. That's one thing which I'll get to a little bit more a little bit later on when I start talking about Stydia. I hope they don't do fan service. That's one thing I desperately hope they don't do fan service, because I feel like that would just ruin it a little bit. Like, I don't know, have him come back for a reason. Like, if you bring Jackson back, resolve his storyline. If you bring Cora back, which is also probably unlikely, resolve her storyline. Find out what she was doing. Don't just bring him back for the sake of bringing him back. Maybe Derek. You could probably get away with bringing Derek back for the sake of bringing him back, and maybe Isaac. But like anybody else, you have to like have a reason for it. Um, so yeah, I want to talk about Stydia a little bit. So it's more. I've resigned myself to the fact that it's more than likely going to happen, but it doesn't mean that I have to like it, because I'm not the biggest Stydia fan. I like Styles and Malia, their romantic relationship, a lot better, and I like Styles and Lydia's friendship a lot better than their romantic inklings. Like 3 and 4, their relationship in seasons 3 and 4 are like better than the one, or like the is the best time that they have, like a point of their relationship in my opinion. And also because like now a lot of people are um, hopping on the idea that Scott and Malia should end up together because of that. But I think that cheapens it a little bit, just because then they're simply getting together to get both of them out of the way for Styles and Lydia. And Styles and Lydia getting together almost comes off as fan service anymore. Like, I don't know. They would have to try very, very hard to not make it fan service to me, which is kind of one of those things. I don't want them to do that. It's kind of like also if Scott and Malia get together, in the back of my mind, there's just going to be the seed planted that it's just so that they're both out of the way. And I mean, I've mentioned it before. My personal favorite ship is Scott and Lydia. So I think they work really well together. I think that their scenes that they have together are, even though there's less of them than Styles and Lydia, I think that they're much more palpable and much heavier weighted scenes. So yeah. And now I'm going to get to the part that a lot of people might not like, which is I think they're going to kill off Styles. I know I recently listened to Nod, another Teen Wolf podcast, where they talked about how they don't think that the people on there don't think that that would just be a too sad of an ending for the show. But I have evidence, kind of. So evidence number one is how heavily Styles focused this season is, which is like, I don't know. We haven't had such a heavy season focus on a character in a long time, and so I think that him getting a second time where he's the focus of the show, even though yes, he is a main character, I think that they're trying to get everything they can out of him. Point number two, how they basically spoiled the Stydia thing in the trailer. Like they're really pushing that, so I think they're trying to resolve that as quickly as possible. And also, like I said in the episode, with that happening literally in the first episode, to me that makes it seem like they're trying to get that resolved quickly. So I could see like maybe like episode 10 or something, which which that'll be another point later, that like somehow he dies or something. 3, how Dylan O'Brien hasn't been around. I mean, he got injured filming Death Cure, so he'd been out of action for months, and then he went and started filming American Assassin in London, and he's so by reports right now, all he's confirmed is he's coming back for like a week or two to film episode 10, episode 610. But there's nothing after that because he's supposed to go back and film the third Maze Runner movie. So it makes me think, and people are very quiet. Nobody's talking about when he'll be back. Jeff Davis, in an interview that came out just a couple days before the premiere, he's like, "Oh, that would it would just be sad, to see an actor, to have an actor get lost, and it's that terminology that makes me think like, oh, him being lost. That's makes it seem like he's not coming back. And I mean, and that's kind of one of the things. It's I've said it a couple times on the channel. I think that TV shows ending and people leaving TV shows is a good thing because a lot of TV show actors I think are just better than most other actors, and so I want to see Dylan O'Brien do a lot more movies, in the time frame that he has because he's a really good actor, and so yes, Teen Wolf is his thing, but I kind of want him to branch out. So that's a little bit of wish fulfillment on my part. Um, my fourth reason is also, I mean, wouldn't that be the ultimate motivator for the last 10 episodes, or even if they kill him off in the partway through the second half of season 6? I think that doing that would be a good thing, or could be an interesting thing. Wouldn't that be the ultimate motivator to stop? The way it works out in my head is since they'd be rescuing both Peter and Styles, once they're rescued, Peter kills him, and then because again, I mean, with them bringing him back for this last season, I think that Peter's the end game. Like he's the end game villain again. They're bringing him back, and I think that'd be pretty cool. Hopefully, they do it better than season 4, because season 4 is a little lackluster, especially after watching season 5 again, which I did right before this happened. And then number 5 is the issue of Styles' name. Without it coming off as fan service, like, oh, people are gonna remember his name. Like once Lydia remembers his real name, she'll be able to remember and they'll be able to save him, or they find it on his birth certificate, or something that comes off as cheesy or fan service. Which again, I'm not a big fan of fan service. I think one of the best ways to do this is on his gravestone, which is meaning that he died. And I think that would be just an interesting way to take the show. I mean, they've been saying that a lot of people are gonna die, which to me means that you probably any of the parents, and it's just like you got to do something like that. I don't know. To me, you need to surprise people, because that's the thing. If people get comfortable and they think that their favorite characters aren't going to die, it doesn't. There's not the tension anymore. There's not any tension. Who knows? Maybe they're never able to save Styles. However this ends, I just think that might be for in general, the best thing. Because, like, again, he hasn't been around for filming season 6, and they're kind of chugging along. I think they're working on, I think, episode 14 right now, last I heard. And it's just, yeah. So, all in all, very good episode. I think it's, again, I think it's one of the stronger premieres. Probably up there with the season, probably up there with the season 3 premiere, because the season 3 premiere was really good. So, yeah, so, okay, I want to make a quick point. So, I'm only going to be putting up this review, as you can tell, the mid-season finale, the mid-season premiere, and then the season 6/series finale on this channel, Plugged On. I am going to do all the other episodes, but I'm going to put them up on my personal YouTube channel. So I think I'll put a link down in the description in case you're wondering, because I want to review all the episodes, but we have other stuff that needs to go up on Plugged On, so I don't want to saturate our views. So yeah, so you can check out. I'll do every episode on there, and I might even do other TV reviews on there. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's a weird ride. I mean, Teen Wolf is the only show that I've literally watched when every episode premiered from when it started. I mean, I watched it when it premiered and after the VMAs in 2011. I'm gonna watch it like each episode when they air, up until the series finale. And so after 100 episodes, it's going to be weird. It's going to be sad to see my favorite show go. But we'll cross that bridge in 6 months when we get there. So thanks for watching, and see you guys later.